Hey there, people of the grid. Miker here, and with me in behind the wheel is Ethan. It is that time. It is 7 years since we got the Nissan Leaf. This is a 2011 Nissan Leaf 7-year review. We've owned the car since we picked it up from the dealership. We've had it since it was new. Tammy and I drove it for the first 6 years pretty much, and then the last year has been all Ethan. He got his license recently at age 16, and so this is his kind of runaround car whenever he's got certain places to go. We have 86,831 kilometers on the car right now. I'll give you a breakdown of the numbers a little later when we get inside. We're just going to pick some stuff up, but we thought we would take the Leaf for a spin, and then we could talk about the Leaf in here. For Tammy and I, for the 6 years that we've driven this car, we've driven it through some pretty harsh weather. Here in Alberta, we get some seriously cold winters. We get lows to minus 30, minus 35 Celsius. It doesn't last forever, but it does last for a few days. We've always had the car for the first probably 5 years that we had it. It lived inside of our garage, which is not heated, but that's where we have a J1772 charger, and we would charge it up in the garage overnight. Pretty much forever. And then when we added another car to our fleet, the Leaf ended up living outside. So it's actually lived outside for the last 2 full years, through the summers, through the winters, and we've strictly charged it off of 110 outside, because that's really all Ethan's ever needed. The odd time when I'm away, or if we need to charge it up, we'll pop it in the garage and charge it on the L2 charger that we've got set up in there. So being a great car for us. As far as reliability, 100% reliable. For the last 7 years, really, in the early days, because we had originally leased it and then we bought out the lease, we had to take it into Nissan to get the checkups done. And so I think we spent, $280 for the first couple of years each year. That would be for Nissan to review it, to tell you that the battery is totally healthy, and to replace the air filter in the cabin here, which you get to via the glove compartment. And there's videos and FYI instructions, or DIY instructions on how you can do it yourself. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
DIY?
Do it yourself, yes. So yeah, for 6 years we've driven it. Ethan, you've driven it a year. What are your thoughts on 1 year with an electric vehicle? And Ethan's this is still his first year, and he picked it up kind of going into winter, so he's got some good winter driving experience. But what's it been like driving an electric car?
It's pretty easy, pretty simple. I mean, the only problem is when you want to go to a far away distance, you got to kind of plan for that. Sometimes not use heat in the Leaf, so that's always an experience.
This Leaf is a 24 kilowatt. It's the original. It does have, because they sold it in Canada, it does have a thermal sort of heating capability for the battery, but that only kicks in when it gets to about minus 17 Celsius, or I think it's minus 17. It turns on, and then it heats it to about minus 10. So it's not ideal, but it does keep it from freezing, which is ideal. And yeah, like Ethan said, if you're doing longer trips, you kind of have to know where your charging sites are, which when Tammy and I got this car, there was one public charger in all of Alberta, and it was at the CP rail yard.
Well, it's because we were kind of the first to Leaf.
Yeah, we were the first to have a Leaf here, residential Leaf. There were some commercial ones out there. We were the first residents to own one. So the CP rail yard had a charger, because when they came off the train, they would charge them up, and then they could take them over to the dealerships. And then we got our residential charger, and we've never looked back since. So yeah, we're gonna go get a hot chocolate. We'll go inside, and we'll fill you in on the actual numbers. But 7 years with an original battery Leaf. Oh, the other thing I should point out is we have lost one capacity bar. So it's got 12 bars of capacity, and over time the battery does degrade. We've degraded one capacity bar away. I'm expecting the other one to fall off any time now, like maybe another year, maybe 6 months. But that's pretty good. It's very reasonable. It's better than what we would have hoped for, and we still get lots of range. All right, I'm gonna give you guys the numbers here. I'll show you this. I track everything. I track all of the energy in, the energy out, how far we drive, because I want to know how the cars are doing. So I'll show this to you guys. All right, guys, breaking it down by the numbers for the Nissan Leaf. It's, you know what? I mean, we've had it 7 years. We put a lot of mileage on it. So far, we're, like I said, over the 86,000 kilometer mark. Ethan's going to keep it going as far as adding more and more kilometers. And really, yeah, as you can see on the spreadsheet, like in 2013, 2014, 2015, 16, that 250, 223, 200, that is money that we just spent doing maintenance on the car while we had it under the lease, and then we bought out the lease, and then we stopped doing that because we've got tools. I don't use them. There's Leaf Spy. That's probably the best one. That'll give you battery health and battery state. But we know the battery health and state. It's doing really good. It survives the winter here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And it's still going strong 7 years into us owning it. And I think, you know, we're just going to drive it until it dies. It's probably going to be another 7 years, hopefully, that it treats us really well. Definitely Ethan and maybe even Amelia will drive it a bit too. So, yeah, you know, when I look at all of the history of us driving that car, there's a lot of, I used it for commuting to work. We've used it to go shopping. We've even used it to go snowboarding. We've got a hill that's here very close to us in Calgary called Canada Olympic Park. And so we just drive around to the other side of the city, go snowboarding. We've charged off of L2 and we've charged off of L1, which is your standard old 110. The interesting thing, we've never plugged this car into a CHAdeMO. We have CHAdeMO on it. It has it on board. It's ready to charge that way. We just haven't done it yet. And we have I think we have now 2 CHAdeMOs here in Calgary, but they charge a lot. And I want to do it. I'll do it once. Maybe we'll do it once the weather warms up a bit. It just, you know, we charge it at home and that gives us enough range to do what we need to do, and certainly for what Ethan needs to do. What's interesting though is for all of those kilometers that we've driven that car, our total electricity cost, so to propel it, to drive over 86,000 kilometers, it has cost us $915.01. $915.01. That's awesome. So that's all it's cost us, and yeah, I don't mind letting Ethan drive it now because it costs pennies to have him drive. I keep track of how much it costs us per kilometer. For the Leaf, it is just 1 cent per kilometer to propel that car. That's how much it costs in electricity to drive the car. Now, we have replaced some tires, and we have replaced windshield wiper blades, and we just recently did the rear brakes because they needed to be done. That was a little bit pricey. Let me see. So that's that 2,400 and 8224. Oh, so 536.20 went for a new windshield. We needed a new 12-volt battery for $163.79. We got a new set of tires for just under $800, and the brake work was just under $1,000. But that's it. That's all we've spent. If you look at over the lifetime of the car, over 7 years, we've only spent $3,405 on keeping that Leaf in tip-top shape. That is very, very reasonable. So that's our first electric vehicle experiment. It paid off extremely well. I mean, we're saving money on gas. We used to spend over, our highest year was just under $14,000 in gas. Now we're less than $2,000 in gas. So every year we save $12,000 by not driving or by not spending it on gas. Yeah, we're loving it. I think, you know what I'll do is I'm going to treat the Leaf, now that it's 7 years old, I'm going to treat it to a Leaf Spy. I think it's now available for iOS. So yeah, I'm going to order up me the little ODBC2 adapter. We'll throw it on the car and we'll get some Leaf Spy analytics on the Leaf so we can really see what's going on under the hood as far as the battery management and battery state. But I'm pretty happy with the way it's been going so far. In our climate here in Alberta, where it gets really, really cold, and don't mistake that, in the summer, it gets really, really hot. We get up to 33, 35 Celsius. It doesn't last for a long time, but we do get up there. We'll hover around 26, 27, 25 throughout most of the summer. So we do get hot here. The Leaf loves that temperature. That's kind of like the nominal optimal temperature for our car, and we just get awesome range in the summer. So that's it, guys. That's our Leaf 2011 7-year birthday update. We love the car. If you have any questions for us, let us know. The interior of the car has fared very well. Like, considering it's made of recycled materials, there's no tears in the seats. They look brand new. There's a couple of scuffs on the plastic because we use the Leaf as though it's a truck. So I've hauled dishwashers in it. I've hauled boxes of apples and fruits for Tammy's pie making activities. We've hauled stuff to the dump. We've hauled stuff to give away. I mean, it's just a great, great utility vehicle, and it seats 5. We've taken it snowboarding. We've dumped snowboards in there. And now we run it full heat. Like, once you get to know the car, for Tammy and I, in the first year, year and a half, we were very conservative. We didn't run full heat. But after you get to know the car, you very quickly say, forget that noise. I'm running hot. And in the winter, we crank the heat, we run warm. And even Ethan does now too, so it works out really, really well. There's just the odd time where if you need to go somewhere further in the city, and because Ethan, he doesn't charge at other L2 chargers, he could, he should, he will. He just hasn't figured that out yet. But we're going to hook him up with the info, just like we hook you up with the info. Okay, Miker out.